And we're live. Hi.
Hey.
So today you're talking about the STM32 wireless solutions. So what's the latest?
So yes, sure, Mark. So the purpose, we started 2 or 3 years ago to go wireless with the STM32. So let's say that STM32 in general is gone wireless, and the first product that we put on the market was STM32WB. So we announced these products 1.5 years ago, the first version of the STM32WB, which was the STM32WB55. And since then, we have kept on adding new products to this portfolio, and this is what we keep on doing. And one of the latest announcements that we made is, of course, the STM32WB15.
So does that mean it's like a full MCU with included wireless solutions? Is that how it works?
Absolutely. You have to see it as. So you have to see the STM32 wireless as, okay, this is what we can see on this line. And if I go full screen, it's even better. You can see what we're doing. So is we take the DNA of the STM32, and in this case, it's an STM32L4, and we simply add a wireless pipe to this product. So like in the past, we were doing STM32 plus USB, STM32 plus UART. Here now you could imagine, and it's really to make it very simple, but it's an STM32 with a 2.4 gigahertz pipe. And in this case, this pipe is a BLE 5.2 or 802.15.4. So it's a true MCU based on our DNA and all the features that you can retrieve in the STM32 portfolio. And on top, you've got the ultra low power capabilities because it's based on the STM32L4 that you know pretty well, that is very popular on the market. So we reuse everything that we're learning on this family. We do not reinvent the wheel, and we add simply 2 modems on this device. So this creates, in a simple way, the STM32WB portfolio.
So when you say 2 modems, are they? It's a lot to do with the 2.4 gigahertz, or like where the Bluetooth is, Wi-Fi is also in there?
No, both of them. So both of them operate in the 2.4 gigahertz, clear. But we on this device, on the STM32WB, we do integrate a BLE 5.2 modem, so that you can understand you can entertain any BLE, let's say, connections. And next to it, a 802.15.4 modem, so that you can support ZigBee, for instance, OpenThread, or any proprietary Mac protocol that you may want to develop.
This is something that everybody is asking for, more and more connectivity, right? All the IoT devices want to be connected. So this is a big priority for ST to do some really good wireless solutions.
So this is a strategic axis. So if you, I don't know if you had a look at the market capital day presentation made by our executive a couple of weeks, or to not say months ago. But on STM32, you have basically 3 axes. So you've got wireless being one of them. You've got security, and you've got embedded AI. So here on the STM32 wireless, we go for BLE. Let me show you this slide. This is just gathering our strategy. So the first product that we put on the market is WB, so to cover 2.4 gigahertz. Then next to it, and you had a conversation this morning with my colleague Benjamin, we go for sub-gigahertz, so namely LoRa, Sigfox, wireless MBus, and any other proprietary protocols. We made the acquisition of Riot Micro in July 2020 in order to come with a cellular solution within the STM32 portfolio. At the same time, we made the acquisition of Bspoon to come with a solution within the STM32 portfolio with ultra-wideband. And we will keep on adding new or additional, we'll keep on adding connectivity ways to the portfolio. And it's quite easy to understand what will be the next one. But as you can see, what is our target? So we have many STM32 users. So they have developed their applications. They have they are using our ecosystem. And what they want to do, okay, their applications are evolving as well. In the past, they were using a wire. Now they want to go wireless, and they do not want to reinvent the wheel. This is what we are bringing thanks to this STM32 wireless portfolio. You keep your ecosystem, you keep all the things that you have been doing for your application, and you move from a connected application to a non-connected application depending on your use cases and on your products. This is what we bring, and this is definitely what we want to bring.
How would you define the demand from your users in terms of cellular, getting cellular solutions? Maybe is something that they've been asking for a while, and now you're bringing more and more in that area too, to get more connectivity everywhere?
Yes, so basically you may want to connect on a long range. So this is what we can do with the STM32WL, but you may want to do it as well. So, I mean, if you do it with a WL, you're using the ISM band. So you can use a LoRaWAN network. You can use a Sigfox network. You can use different, let's say, architecture, different protocols, but you may also want to use, okay, let's rather use, let's say, something which is even more established, and I want to use, let's say, cellular connectivity. And namely, I want to go over NB-IoT or LTE Cat-M because, okay, I do trust this ecosystem and so on, this business model. This is what we will bring with, let's say, with our cellular activity.
So here in your video presentation, there's maybe she's going through all the different wireless solutions that you have that maybe you talk about also on your slides.
Yeah, so this is what Nathalie is basically explaining. So we come with a wireless portfolio, and even within this wireless portfolio, we come with a portfolio for every single, let's say, part of this wireless portfolio. So for BLE and ZigBee, we want to come with a portfolio as well. This has been one of the key axes of our success so far of the STM32. So, you know, if you take, let's say, an STM32L4, you have it from 64K to 2 megabytes of flash, different packages. This is exactly, we want to reuse this, let's say, this success as well on our wireless portfolio, and namely on the WB as well. So this is what we're doing here. So we come with different products. So we have the first one was the WB55 that you can see here on this slide. Different variants, so 1 megabyte of flash, 512 KB of flash, or 256 KB of flash. So typical STM32, I would say. Diff pins package, 68 pin package, 100 pin CSP, if you want to get benefit from all the features of it, and a very, let's say, exclusive industrial package, is 129 pins package that allows our customers to make a 2-layer PCB. So this is typical for industrial customers. So they want to get all the features, but they cannot afford to get a 4-6 layers PCB. So this is what we're bringing. And next to this, so different type of flash, different type of packages, but also different type of products. So WB55, WB35 that you can find here. And I don't know if you can see my screen. So WB35 in 512 KB, only 96 KB of RAM, and the other version here, 256, 96 KB of RAM. And last but not least, and this is what Nathalie presented in her video, we are coming with, let's say, the little brother of the family. It's the smallest kid. This is a WB15 that covers 320 KB of flash, 48 KB of RAM. This one, it's still a dual core, so we keep our architecture. So Cortex M4 for the application, Cortex M0 Plus driving the protocol stack. Here on this one, the WB15 is really targeting the low-end applications, so, and BLE only. So namely, if you want to get connected to a smartphone, you do not have so much to drive on your application. You do not need a USB. Fair enough. This is what you can do with the WB15. That will be available in 48 pins package, and actually 2 types of 48 pins package, because you've got a 48 pins package that is fully compatible with the rest of the portfolio, and you will get an extended one where you can get a few more GPIOs. So as you see, a complete portfolio and something that is really unprecedented for STM32. We come with a module, a pre-certified module.
Sorry.
So if you as a customer are not,
no problem. It's working now. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we do come with a pre-certified module. So if you customer are not so keen on tuning RF, tuning the crystals and so on, we do come with a pre-certified module. What does it mean? So within let's say a design, so it's a very small, let's say PCB, you've got everything inside. You've got the crystals, you've got the WB55 in CSP 100 package. So this means that you have access to all the pins, and you can do it, and you can develop your application in even 2 layers or 4 layers. But you do not have to deal with let's say the troubles of RF. Everything is integrated. You take it, you plug it, you develop your application, done. Your application is connected to BLE or to 802.15.4 or to both, because we do support on all our products embedding the 2 modems, this famous concurrent mode.
And
so, okay.
You're talking about platform also, like you were mentioning the whole support is like it's coming from the whole history of the ST support and with from wireless to all the other MCUs.
Yes, this is completely supported. So this device is part of the STM32 portfolio. So as such, is supported by the STM32 team. If you take STM32 L4, F4, G0, you've got the WB next to it or the WL, and this is supported by the same teams. Of course, this team has been increased by new talents with a very strong background in RF stuff, but we have staffed ourselves in order to support our dear customers in this journey of wireless connectivity. And maybe Roman, if you are in the discussion, you may want to say something on our support capabilities.
Hi, Roman.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be with you again. So, of course, the products are nice. The portfolio is huge, but together with this, also the complexity and the time to market is changing. So the complexity of the application and the pressure on all the designers to finish their design as soon as possible is clearly there. So together with the product, we have to bring not only the libraries and proper documentation. We try to bring additional resources like trainings, workshops, digital materials, videos that can help our customers to guide them through the journey of evaluation down to the certification of their final product.
And you also have a colleague here talking about some of those tools, or?
Yes, there is Tilen with us. So of course, I will be happy to have him spend a word on it. Maybe before giving him the space, one point on dedicated to RF. We do have dedicated RF laboratory in our ST office in Prague. And in this one, we can help customers, let's say, with antenna selection, antenna fine-tuning, even with some pre-certification tests on the products that Jean-Marc has described. So this is a big benefit for any customer who doesn't want to invest immediately in a certification authority, but would like to have a first feedback on his design.
It's very important to have a product that actually connects, and you don't want to have too much interference. You want to get exactly that has like hundreds of different antennas that you can customize, choose the cable, how long, and everything, and right?
It's like this, yeah. It's no more simple like connecting, two devices over the UART. So when it comes to analog and RF, there are a lot of tricky points, and you need expensive tools very often to understand what's happening around your antenna and between the two connected devices. And this is where we come and we can help. And we do have resources, experienced teams that can help customers move on with their designs.
And I guess it's completely different when you go cellular compared to testing the low energy Bluetooth, right? This maybe then you have to actually test outside in the in the cities or in the everywhere?
Well, yes. Each of the system, each of the protocols, and of the bands has specificities, right? So we do have customer cases like on the LoRa, where I remember that they asked us to go in the basement of like a 20 storage building, and we were in the basement, they were in the 20th floor, and we were doing some tests on the benchmark level to prove that our technology is the right one for the application. But these are more like a field tests. With our laboratory equipment, we can really help on the laboratory level to optimize the output power and the emissions to reach the best efficiency in the field at the end.
So maybe would you like to introduce Tilen?
Of course. So Tilen, please jump in and tell us something about the remaining block between the micro and the support, which is the ecosystem.
Hi to all. So this is Tilen speaking. Thanks for being with. Thanks for invitation to be with you. Yes. So ecosystem. There is a lot about ecosystem in the, let's say, development of any project. Okay. So let's say the recent surveys done by, let's say, independent company. Okay. Shows that let's say if the customers have to compare what is the most important for them when they decide for the new project, is it let's say some of them are in love with the vendor itself, the company. Some of them, let's say, they like the product itself, doesn't really matter which vendor, and some of them they like ecosystem. The results show that let's say 2/3, so 60 to 70% of the developers demand strong ecosystem to develop their application, to feel comfortable. And in this regard, ST has STM32 ecosystem. I can, in fact, maybe share my screen.
Yeah.
I have one presentation.
Maybe you
okay,
have
I'm sharing.
Yeah. There's your screen.
Okay, so this is, let's say, one slide giving the overall picture of our ecosystem. So let's say on the left side we can talk about the software tools. So those are the tools you usually install on your computer, and on the on the right side you have the firmware or embedded software offer. So let's first focus on the left side. So these are the software tools. Basically, there is a, let's say, normal cycle of the development. So from the microcontroller, let's say, selection, finding the right product that will fit your application. Then there is let's say, some initial configuration, project development. So kind of writing C++ code, or let's say also some different ones. There is some debugging thing, let's say monitoring thing, and let's say project closure. So there is we can call it a round natural way of development of every project every customer has. Now at ST, we have, let's say, tools that are necessary to handle everything with only ST tools. So you don't need to use any third-party tool to be successful with STM32. So there are 4 of them listed. We start with basically with the CubeMX. That is a configurator tool, so graphical configurator tool, also supporting let's say many features, and some of them have been introduced in 2020, such as support for dual core devices, support for devices with Cortex M33, where you have trust zone, where security is a key concern. Also, because of one of the main advantages of our ecosystem is to grow it. Okay, so let our developers, our customers, to contribute to our ecosystem. The CubeMX can, it's very famous because it generates the code from graphical configuration. In fact, it can also generate the code from user bricks. So users, customers, developers, they can put inside their own piece of code, and the CubeMX will successfully generate the project. So it will add their code into the end project before this code is further developed and somehow compiled. Then there is a second tool which we call CubeIDE. Okay, so this is integrated development environment that in fact also includes CubeMX functionality inside. So basically, to develop your application, the only thing you need to download from ST is the CubeIDE. and that's enough. So you don't need to download if you decide to go with CubeID, you don't need to download CubeMX. At this point, I would like to mention also that we don't limit any customer the way they want to go. So they can take CubeID, they can take solution from our partners such as Kyle Microvision or IR Embedded Workbench, or simply, let's say, make file and develop their project in any ID, even Notepad++ or standard Notepad that you get on the Windows. So this is the CubeID is debugger, code, so supports writing the code, debugging, and compiling. The third one, which you see on the list, is the CubeProgrammer. This is a tool that lets you to flash the microcontroller. So you have to download the flash somehow, you have to configure the option bytes, and this kind of thing. So somehow you have to transfer the code to the micro. This is done with the CubeProgrammer. It also supports advanced features such as secure firmware installation. So this is, let's say, proprietary way how our customers can benefit from ST offer to program their, let's say, intellectual property in the so-called non-secure environment. So if you have a third-party company doing programming for you, and you are not really sure if you can trust them to give them the plain firmware or plain binary, you can propose secure firmware installation so that you deliver encrypted binary, and the CubeProgrammer plus the bootloader running on the microcontroller will decode encrypted binary on the fly inside the microcontroller and then securely flash it. So this is also what CubeProgrammer allows. Last but not least here, CubeMonitor. This is, let's say, very last thing during the project development stage, where you have to verify if your application is behaving properly. So maybe you can have some glitches in the software which are not somehow immediately visible. Let's say maybe they occur once, twice per hour or something like that, or once per day. And using the CubeMonitor, which you attach to the microcontroller, you can fetch the data constantly. So you can read the RAM memory or even flash. And you can, let's say, log the events that are maybe hazardous, that are not in line with your expectation. So therefore, you can use this tool to verify long-term application stability. And then you can decide if everything is okay or not. This tool is also based on web technology. So we are using Node-RED behind. This is a unique feature because it allows customers to benefit from Node-RED community. It's a JavaScript behind anyway. So they can add their own widgets, they can connect to the cloud, and so on. So there are many options that our customers can do with our software tools, so the left part of the ecosystem.
Just before, you were saying that the CubeMX is like famous because it's you have tools that just takes graphical, that basically no coding required to get some code done. Is that also part of the offering here?
This is exactly what is the point. So taking the CubeMX, you can really accelerate your project development because it's you just open the tool. The first thing it asks you to select the microcontroller, the one you will work with, or board. We also let you to, we have the, maybe I have some here somewhere. Okay, I don't have next to me any board. So we have the development board, such as Nucleo board, Discovery board, and you can take this one as a start point for your project. And then you enter the CubeMX window. You see the microcontroller in the middle. You see list of the peripherals on the left side. You can click, let's say, I want to configure the UART. You click on UART, let's say UART2. You configure the baud rate, and you simply click on generate the code. And then the code is generated, and you are effectively enabling the UART in your end application. So basically, taking 5 to 10 clicks, you've been able to have UART in your application. This is much faster versus taking the reference manual and reading every bit and byte of the registers of the microcontrollers. That's why it's very famous, because it really accelerates the development of your, let's say, end project. Okay, UART was maybe not the best example because it's pretty simple peripheral, but if you look at other things, much complex ones such as DMA2D, LTDC, and so on, DSI peripherals, display serial interface, where the things get far more complicated, it really benefits to the end customer.
So, so I guess this means this is a big deal over the last 2-3 years. Maybe the developments that you've been doing in ST is providing like the next level of tools for all the ecosystem. And this is like a big leap, or?
Certainly. So in our microcontroller division, let's say the ecosystem team, the software development team and embedded development team, we have like 300 people doing only this. So the team is pretty big. So I'm talking here about the software and firmware, so the left and right part. And they have, let's say, it's a full-time job, we can say, doing just this. And the CubeMX is available since 2014. Okay, since then it was massively improved, and we are still improving it. Okay, and we will continue to work on it in the future because it's really the main target.
How would you define that? Yeah, sorry, please go ahead. Yeah.
We should keep in mind the motto of STM32, which is STM32 releasing your creativity. So at the end, we want our customers to focus on the applications. They do not have to learn how our register works and so on. This is not our target. So we provide them with everything that they need, and they develop their application.
And it's important to make things easier every year. Every embedded world, everything gets easier for all the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. So, like Jean-Marc said, so the purpose of the CubeMX, CubeID, and all these, let's say, graphical configuration tools is that we let you focus on your application, and you don't need to spend time so much reading the reference manuals to understand how every bit works in the STM32. This is the main target of the tools.
And you also sorry, I interrupted. You also talking about custom implementation. When people have a new idea, they want to do something custom, then you also provide the full kind of like window into that world where people can really customize something specific.
Yes. So what I was in fact talking about is let's say support for so-called expansion packages. Okay. So this you can see on the right side, on the bottom right. Okay, you see STM32 Cube expansions. And these are the firmware packages, usually named X-Cube or I-Cube, and then something. And let's say starting the CubeMX version 6.0, and last week we, by the way, released 6.2. The CubeMX can import expansion package, of course, if it's properly designed. Okay, and then when you configure the graphical your project, you can also select the expansion package to be included in your project during the code generation. Okay, and if the package is well prepared based on our, let's say, Cube ecosystem standards, how to create your expansion package, then the customer can also graphically configure this expansion pack. So let's say I have expansion pack called printf debugging, okay, which is working through UART. If you enable this expansion pack, the customer can decide, let's say, which UART of the microcontroller should I use as an output for my debugging expansion pack. So it's really everything is graphically configurable.
So Roman, we can see you. Maybe you can say something about what you think is the feedback from users, from your ecosystem, in what you've been able to do over the last, since we were doing booth tours 3 years ago, I think maybe it was 4 years ago, the first, like it's a lot of new stuff, a lot of new tools, right?
Well, yeah, I think there is a huge evolution and a big effort behind. But why all this? It's really because of our customers. I think the beauty of all this is that we listen to customers and we digest their feedback. And I think good example is if I look back 6-7 years ago when I, as a designer, wanted to start with STM32, and I wanted to make a configuration of the clock tree, which sometimes could be a bit complex. I had to download a specific Excel file and start to fill in there some constants, and it was generating for me, some configurations, and it was very heavy to start. today, like Tilen explained, I simply open the CubeMX. There is a pre-configured setup, and in a nice, let's say, Windows kind of style, I can change the configuration. I can set what input frequencies and what output frequencies I want to have, and it will calculate for me automatically all the PLLs, dividers, multipliers, to make my configuration correct. So there are tools which can really help the customers to minimize their time on this, so they can focus with their time on their added value. So how they use the product in their application, bringing some, let's say, more energy efficient applications or more attractive applications for final customers. And the final customers is me, you, Charbak, it's Jean-Marc, it's Tilen, because we are buying new things, new home appliances, new security systems, and all this. And this is where you find the STM32 today.
Would you explain a little bit what's the atmosphere of the past year at the ST? I guess maybe some people like working from home, or it's also maybe like I guess productivity at ST is not slowed down, right? Even the embedded world is not physical.
So for sure, the whole world changed drastically. It's basically 1 year since we started to face this much in Europe. And I remember when we decided not to be present at Embedded World 2020, and it passed. Now, for sure, we adapted as much as we could. I can also bring a few examples. Every day we are developing and delivering to our customers a series of one-day technical workshops on different subjects, such as how to use STM32MP1, how to develop the BLE application with STM32WB, how to develop as secure boot, secure firmware upgrade and install for your application. So all these things we were used to bring to our customers in face-to-face workshops. So we were meeting in our offices or in different hotel meeting rooms across Europe. Last year it was not possible, but basically over 2 or 3 months we have adapted to remote workshops, and we keep deliver them using the remote platforms, including hands-on exercises. Means that we are shipping to our customers the boards that they need to use for the hands-on examples, and we don't want to stop, because we know that that's important in daily life for the designers to learn and practice new things.
All right, and people can watch all these videos on your YouTube channel, where you are showing a lot of cool stuff. This is the wireless video, maybe that, but I mean, there's many different things, and people can watch your Embedded World content.
Correct. Yes, so it's not only this Embedded World, but for all the workshops that we are delivering, we make sure that the content is at the end available in the digital form on our YouTube channel, so people can come back to it or can find it at any point. They are not really linked to the workshop dates. And just to tell you some numbers, last year the amount of view hours of those technical videos was reaching 30,000 hours, which is impressive. And it only underlined that a lot of people are relying on them to see how they can use the product or how they can develop specific application points with STM32.
Without trying to announce the future or secrets or something like that, but would you like to say a little bit, Tilen, Roman, Jean-Marc, about what are your users wanting for the future? And maybe you have, like, I'm sure you have a huge roadmap, and there's just more and more stuff that can be optimized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I would say security, connectivity, lower power, more performance, and embedded AI.
This is on one side, yes.
Yes.
This is on one side. So on the ecosystem side, there is always room for improvement. And in fact, what I didn't yet mention is that, so starting in last year, we made an agreement with Microsoft. Okay, we did, let's say this week, already announcement on this. So because we are bringing the Azure RTOS support for So I will go to the next slide. So we are bringing the Azure RTOS support for STM32 directly into the STM32 Cube. As I mentioned before, X-Cube packages, so expansion packages, can be added to our CubeMX, Cube ID, and this is the way how we are delivering this incredible piece of middleware offer. So Azure RTOS, coming with 4 important and industry-leading middlewares. So we are talking about the operating system ThreadX, file system, FAT file system, FileX, NetX for the TCP/IP, and USBX. So all this is giving you industry certifications, industry-leading middleware, let's say low footprint, high performance, and on the other side, let's say goes tightly with our strategy on the security. For example, NetX supports all the security features you would normally need in connectivity with the cloud. For example, this is just one thing. And we started with deployment to STM32H7, our highest performant microcontroller. And during the 2021 full year, we will deliver also for other existing STM32 such package. So our customers will really benefit massively on this middleware part of our embedded firmware solution.
Is it accelerating how people are adopting cloud on the MCU market over the past year? There's more and more in this kind of way. Maybe you need AI to also not send all the data up to the cloud, but only take some of it and all that stuff.
Okay, so if we tackle this AI topic, I would like to say one thing. So there is a Azure RTOS and there is a Azure Cloud. So the people are usually mixing these things, okay? Because the Azure is just, okay, first of all, it's a Microsoft branding for the cloud, while the Azure RTOS is the operating system, or let's say set of middlewares around the operating system, which has in fact nothing to do with the cloud. So the only thing they have in common is the name, okay? So if you want to use, let's say, Azure RTOS, it doesn't need to be for the purpose to connect to the Azure cloud. This is the first thing everyone have to keep in mind. So you can use the Azure RTOS for simple applications that are only the local one, do not have any connectivity around. This is a very important thing that we have to expose to our customers.
All right, but I guess it's got to be a big deal also that Microsoft invests to help make all the RTOS development more optimized, better IoT. They also hope people will use more of the cloud eventually also, right? And this is, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, okay, this is certainly one of the strategy of the Microsoft. So they, in fact, they acquired Express Logic company, so the US-based company, who is on the market, I think, since 1998, something like that, at least 20 years. So their, let's say, middleware offer was always number one, and they are claiming to have the 7 billion devices equipped on the field with their middleware offer. So today this one is called Azure RTOS. In the past it was called Express Logic Software. So it's really, for Microsoft, this is one strategy to somehow, let's say, make let's say closer way for the customer to use their cloud.
All right. Thanks a lot. Roman, what do you think? Do you think there's some topics we didn't cover, we should cover in this video?
Yeah, so maybe to also complement a little bit to your question on what's coming in the future. So, like Jean-Marc already said, be sure that our development teams are, let's say, working hardly in several directions, and the important domains are indeed RF, and I think ST have shown with a couple of acquisitions last year the directions. So this is definitely where we are acting. And we will bring products for those, let's say, in coming months. And then in terms of ecosystem, and when I was speaking about the workshops, and Tilen mentioned the Azure RTOS story. So what I can disclose that this year in 2021, the major workshop campaign that we will bring to our customers, starting, let's say, end of May. So very likely still remotely, unfortunately, but let's see. Will be exactly about how to use Azure RTOS together with STM32 and how simple it will be thanks to its integration inside the STM32Cube MX, allowing the customers in an easy clickable way to include those components like NetX or USB-X, including some initial initialization directly in the first phase of project generation. So they don't have to download several packages from GitHub and then start first compilation with 105 errors and spending a lot of time just bringing the things together. They will be integrated by us, so customer would be able to start using them right away. That's the key point.
There's one question saying Azure RTOS thumbs up, and how about Zephyr RTOS? Last year I was doing a video with Zephyr talking about big adoption. How do you just want to support everything, or how do you figure out how to support, what to support?
So I can comment this. So our primer goal, primer target to support will be certainly Azure RTOS. That's why we did the agreement with the Microsoft, and we will have the full, all our support capabilities will be focused on this. Nevertheless, we are not, putting aside the Zephyr. So there we still have at least 1.5 eye on Zephyr. We even have people in the microcontroller division that are contributing to Zephyr. So in order, to have the STM32 boards supported there, like the Nucleo Discovery board, so that the customers who are trying to use Zephyr, they can go to the official GitHub Zephyr OS GitHub account. They download it. They start it with STM32. So this is certainly possible. We are not, blocking our customers against using Zephyr. Just, more resources today we are putting on Microsoft Azure RTOS. Well, what will happen in the future, I cannot say. But if there will be a strong, usage and demand around Zephyr, we might, reconsider our strategy and focus on Zephyr much more versus what we do today.
All right. Thanks a lot. Jean-Marc, if there's anything you wanted to say more, you let me know, or Roman.
Just that, keep the faith in STM32. We keep on developing to support your applications. This is the most important thing, that you can rely on us to develop your own applications. So we do not develop microcontrollers or microprocessor for our own pleasure. We do it for you, our customers.
All right. So thanks a lot. Thanks for your time, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe last point, connect to us, connect to our engineers on Embedded Board. You still have 2 days. So Thursday and Friday, they are all there. We have up to 100 engineers from STM32U5, the new adaptation to our families, WB, WL, ecosystem. Whatever question you may have today with your designs or for the future, connect to us, speak to us. Our people make themselves available. So use this. We cannot meet face-to-face, but we are there remotely for you.
And you're actually famous for giving away boards, right, at these kinds of events. And this might be happening here too. Or how do you, there's a lot of boards, you have so many boards, and people can just buy them for affordable prices on your website?
Yeah, this is true. So like every year, remember when we met physically on Embedded Board, sometimes there were even people queuing in the lines for the board. We see, the development boards like Nucleo or Discovery Kits as an important element for every engineer who wants to start playing with any component. And for sure, we want to make this easy for our customers. And not only customers, these boards are available for students, for geeks, for makers, basically anyone who would like to put his hands and play with STM32. And this year it's the same. So even though we cannot distribute the boards face-to-face to the people at the Nürnberg Messe, we have decided and dedicated nearly 5,000 boards that people can either register for, and we will have a kind of lucky lottery at the end of the event. And other way to get the board is to talk to me, talk to Tilen, talk to Jean-Marc, or all the 100 colleagues that are on the Toki platform of Embedded. Let's talk to us about your project, and we'll be happy to offer you one of the still available STM32 boards. And there are some cool ones, I can tell you.
people can maybe comment, right? They can comment on your YouTube videos, on this video. They can and see what, try to connect and see.
Yes, please, anyone who is interested, go to embeddedworld.de, and then there is a navigation how to obtain the ticket, and then on board the so-called Toki platform of the Embedded World 21 Digital. The platform is relatively cool. We can chat in between each other. So yeah, connect to us, and you can find ST people divided by experts on RF ecosystem, high performance, low power, MEM sensors, motor control, AI, automotive. So really, we have people there for a lot of major market or product segments, and find us there and talk to us. It will pay off for you.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Okay. Thanks.
Before we close, I really have to expose one thing, because around the ecosystem we can really talk 2 days or more. So for those who will not join anyway the Embedded World, March 16, and this is already available on ST. So March 16, we are preparing the webinar around how easy it is with the CubeMX and Azure RTOS expansion pack to start your new project, or add, let's say, ThreadX into the existing project of you. So we will be live demonstrating at least 30 minutes technical demo this solution. So March 16 at 3 p.m. Central European Time will be live webinar. Registration is for free, so feel free to go to st.com and register there.
And I guess your tools are free, right? Or people can just get online. Is it true?
Everything I just
free.
presented free.
Free, and then people can just play with it even without a board, right?
They can start, yes. Okay, so they can compile, they can generate the code to play with the GUI, and then the only thing they cannot do is debug and flash to the micro, because they don't have it. But if they are on the Embedded World and they speak with me, Roman, or Jean-Marc, they can even get the board.
I have much more boards than you.
Cool. All right. All right. Thank you very much for this tour.
Thanks for watching.